I purchased a Gosney Arc XL recently, and the bake has been so consistent. The bottom heat of the oven and the actual arc just cooks the crust to a caramelized perfection. There is no other oven, in my opinion, out right now that is going to give you these same results. Whether you are in need of a new oven for your pop-up or your dad's asking you, what is the best oven to make some homemade pizzas? Use our affiliate link down in the show notes. Smash the link. It helps the podcast. And more importantly, it helps you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Alex Koons, and I'm sitting down here at Hot Tongue Pizza to bring you another episode of Pie to Pie. And this is the last session we had in room 2012 out there in the Encore in Vegas last March for the Pizza Expo. This couldn't have gone off with a bigger boom. We sat down with none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the Buddha, Al, the Pizza Buddha. Holy moly. I was excited to have this conversation because I had never met Alastair in person. I watched and listened to his podcast on What's Good Dough, and he's talking about consulting. He's given a lot of nuggets in that episode. If you've never heard that one yet, go over to What's Good Dough and watch it. He is just dropping dime after dime, but I was like, who is this dude and why do I not know about him? And he took me on a roller coaster ride of Al the Pizza Buddha's journey. I find so much in consulting when I consult myself, and why I wanted to be a consultant is because I've been through so many failures. It was so interesting hearing the struggles that Alastair has gone through, and he's so much more than just a pizza consultant. He has real life experience working with a wife, and that's a dynamic that not everyone's going to have, but it's a dynamic that's very popular out there in the restaurant industry. Opening up something with your wife and being able to have somebody come in with that kind of angle or that kind of experience is so much more powerful than just somebody who's going to tell you, yo, this is the best sourdough recipe you're going to get ever. Because most of the time, food is kind of the easy part. We talk about checklists, we talk about time, we talk about temperature, we talk about automation and all these new tools that pizzeria owners can use. And in between all of that, we get the story of Alastair being the Wolf of Wall Street on his scooter, selling life insurance, to buying his first restaurant and having to put a sign on it years later. He said it was humming. Thing was humming, and he put out a sign that said, "Sorry, I married the wrong person." We talk about his time at Zoom. He just goes up to Zoom, knocks on the door, and says, "Yo, give me a job," and then he moves to San Francisco. Alastair is a very confident dude. You can hear it in his voice. Hold on, I gotta fold my dough. My timer's going off. This episode is filled with laughter, it's filled with adventure, and it is filled with nuggets, pure nuggets of information. Alastair's energy was next level. If you need some cocaine in your ears, this is the episode for you. I don't know. It was a great way to end the day. It's a great story. So much information. Alastair is a huge talent. Anyways, it was a pleasure meeting him. It's a pleasure calling him a friend. Me being 38 years old, I think the only thing I truly know now that I can definitively say is Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. And so is Al, the Pizza Buddha. So I know you're going to enjoy this episode. Al, the Pizza Buddha, let's go. Pardon the interruption, but we need to take some time to mention our sponsor, Maestro Sausage. Maestro has been working closely with pizzerias for decades. They produce sausages designed specifically with pizzerias in mind. And you can tell, their Italian sausage crumbles look like they were handmade in your shop, and they will taste that way as well. With over 80 years in business, family owned and operated, the family is incredible, and so is their product. It's quality sausage with quality ingredients. If your sausage needs aren't hitting all the right notes, then let Maestro lead the way. Click the link in the show notes. A classical masterpiece awaits you. Back to the show. So what I've gathered from what I know from you is listening to you on Idra's podcast. I know you worked with Brian. But to me, the first thing I thought you had only consulted with Acre. I thought like because it's your main thing and you just consulted. I didn't get any of the shit about like what happened, how you like bought a chain restaurant and like how you had to file bankruptcy. And I feel like maybe like getting into like all the shitstorm and all like the heartaches that you had to go through, because I think like I've tried to get in, I'm in the consulting game, you know, and I think the thing that makes me special is how fucking like the shit I've been in. Yeah. You know what I mean? You've been able to, because you make great food, but I've heard you talk about processes and like all these things, but you've been through a load of shit. And you create a bridge so people can walk over that shit. You know what I mean? That's what they pay big bucks for.
Right. And it's not only connecting that bridge, it's also relating, right? So when I see clients and they're a married couple with a husband and wife, the wife is running the front, the husband's in the back. Hey, you guys aren't talking to each other. You haven't said anything the whole day. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. So it's like, I can relate. I used to work with my ex-wife in my old pizzeria and was like, oh, we're not talking because we fought all morning at the fucking house about the pizzeria. So it was like, we're not making money. So what are we going to do? Yeah. So now we got to go to work and put on the face, right? It's that restaurant face.
I mean, even having that perspective, though, like makes you different than somebody that's going to come in and give them the best sourdough recipe.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like when you can walk into a pizzeria and you can notice that. I mean, like you're on therapeutic, like next level energy.
That's why I think Pizza Buddha worked.
Yeah,
worked well.
That's good. That's good.
And it's kind of like a client that just came back from Fairfield, and you talk about clients. I mean, the roster and the history has been quite a journey. You know, just through Instagram, I only post a couple of them. Some clients, I sign contracts to where I can't post any of their information. Yeah. This client I'm going to in Kuwait is specific about no branding or anything. I can video social media, but no company name or anything. Yeah. Just because they're protecting integrity. But when I can relate to a client's situation as a consultant, I don't really look at myself as a consultant as, hey, I'm going to come in and teach you how to make a pizza. Here's the salt, oil. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, you could Google that these days. Yeah. You could YouTube it. What I do is, yes, that, plus also, what are the problems here? What hurts? What is pissing you off? Like, let's get to the details. Like, what are you not doing to run your pizzeria? Like, what is your food cost on the cheese pizza? I don't know. I looked at that number 2 years ago. Well, let's look at it again right now, because you shouldn't even be fucking open because you don't even know what you're costing the pizza at. Yeah. So those are like the shit that nobody wants to do as an operator, because they have a family or they're too busy running the line because they're short-staffed. I come in and fix all of those problems for them to where that stress is just instantly relieved, to where after they pay me their, my fees, they're like, wow, fuck, that was easy. Yeah. I mean, now I've got systems, operations, my staff can replicate. That's really what I do as a consultant. And it comes from new build outs to existing clients to remote consulting.
So like, I guess like how do you go from, and what was your background before you bought the restaurants in Hawaii?
So my background starts all the way back. I went to Hawaii for college. I used to play college golf. I got my degree in finance and travel industry management from Hawaii Pacific University. My dream as a kid growing up in Guam, I was born and raised in Guam, tiny island. I used to look at America as like the holy grail of opportunity as growing up as an islander. So it was like, okay, I want to be a finance guy. So I want to be a stockbroker. I want to move to New York City. Let me go to college, do that. Went to college, did that, subprime happened. And then more stockbrokers are making minimum wage. I was like, wow, this isn't going to fucking work. Oops. Can't do that. So I went and got a job at John Hancock Financial selling life insurance. What does every stock guy do if he can't sell stocks? Sell life insurance and annuities. So I was doing that gig, riding a moped to work, dressing up in a Ferragamo, decked out like, yo, I'm a power player. Where's boiler room status right now? Let's go, boys. Wall Street. So it was like, I'm selling it, on a moped in Hawaii. There was one day I'm pulling into the parking garage. I used to work for John Hancock. I pull in and I see the CEO pulling out in his M5 and he almost pegs me in my moped. I fucking quit that day. And now I told myself, I was like, I'm going to own my own business and I'm going to figure out how to do this because I don't ever want to be that fucking statistic, right? Or that I'm just a number, an employee number, right? I want to own something, be the boss.
Yeah.
So I started a pizza place. I wrote a business plan. I bought an existing pizzeria in Hawaii.
You didn't know shit about
Didn't
the
know
restaurant
shit
industry.
about the restaurant industry, anything. 20 years old,
Have you always
straight
been
out of college.
Have you always been a confident dude?
Yes, super confident, super outgoing,
Yeah.
super extroverted. I could fucking talk to anybody right now. Like
I saw you yesterday, and I've seen you like a few times, but like when I saw you yesterday, I just felt like I was seeing my best friend.
Nice.
Like it was like, what's up? Like you have that energy.
Homies.
Yeah, you have that. You have
I
that
thought that
energy.
too when I saw Hot Tongue. When I seen Hot Tongue come up and I started following you guys, I was like, dude, these guys are vibing on my level. Like the way I design Acre and the minimalism but edgy, kind of like this is the new version of a slice house. That's where I was like, dude, I love what these guys are doing. Dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So like that's gonna be the next hottest thing. So it was like I'm extroverted, but I'm also, you know, willing to talk to anybody, but understand someone's problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the consulting really takes off for me. When I was in Hawaii, I had these pizza shops, started this business plan, had one pizzeria, had to teach myself everything about dough off YouTube. I literally bought Jeffrey Hammelman's book on bread and learned everything about dough recipes, bread recipes. My grandfather as a kid is from Germany, so I grew up learning how to make bread. So I knew the basics of hydration and fermentation.
Yeah.
I applied that to pizza. I own this pizza place owned by a Boston guy from Revere. He shows up in Hawaii, old school Italian style. And I was buying dough balls from this guy, $5 a dough ball. No franchising fee, no nothing. He goes, the franchising fee is in that dough ball. That's $5. That covers franchising fee, my license fee, everything. Okay, cool, I'm in the business. I later come to Expo a couple years later and see these mixers and I'm talking to these guys. They're like, how much are you paying for dough? I go, $5 a dough ball. What? You know, dough only costs like a couple cents to make. Well, what? He goes, yeah, you get that mixer there and you mix the dough. You know, 20 years later, I've taken that level of knowledge and just dedicated all these years into learning everything about dough.
Yeah.
To where I feel like I'm confident enough to call myself a master at the dough, to where I can understand pre-ferments, hydration, flour, fermentation, to where I've got that in the bag. Had this pizza place, grew it, tried to learn everything I did, mentored under Tony G, wanted to be like...
So how did you mentor under Tony?
I mean, Tony, back in the day when I first came to Pizza Expo, he was like the fucking rock star Roberta style guy of the pizza business.
I mean,
tattoos.
he still is kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he's
know?
the fucking man, dude. He's the man.
He is Expo.
He's my guy, dude. I call him Pizza Daddy. When we message each other.
Holy shit, that's probably, you know, he should change it from Capo.
Yeah, to
like
Pizza
to fucking
Daddy.
Pizza Daddy.
Pizza Daddy.
He's Pizza Zaddy. You
He's
know what
Pizza
I'm saying?
Zaddy.
Wow, that's good.
For sure. And I respected what he was doing and I saw where he was doing regional styles. And he is the first guy to really pioneer multiple regional styles in a pizzeria.
Yeah.
Before that, New York City had squares and Sicilians, but he's the one that really put the label of this is Detroit style, this is tavern style, this is Chicago.
So do it under one roof.
Do it under one place. So I was inspired by that heavily. I'd bought 3 different ovens from my pizzeria, 2 different mixers, was playing with all kinds of flour, importing shit from California all the way out to Hawaii. Knew all the guys like James Orlando and Fatu Amano, Matt from Brickfire Tavern, Pizza Mama.
Yeah.
I actually ended up consulting Pizza Mama years later. But in that time, I've really taken all of that knowledge coming to these expos, the years of, going back to being in Hawaii, that story had these pizza places. I was married to my partner, 51% partner. She was woman-owned enterprise. So of course, funding, lending from a bank, they want to support woman-owned enterprises. So I automatically made her 51% owner.
Yeah.
Big fucking mistake after we got divorced. Big mistake.
Yikes.
So we're in this business. It's like 9 years running. We're humming, dude. $4.5 million a year in
So
Hawaii.
you're doing well.
We were rocking, dude.
Yeah.
I was driving the fucking F-250 Super Duty diesel. She was in a Beamer.
You fucking listening to Toby Keith,
Oh,
windows
man, I
down.
was just like, Biggie all day, more money, more problems. I was like, yeah. You know what
This
I mean?
is it, son.
I was like, yo, pizza
We out here.
Pimpin'. I was like, fuck yeah, look at me. So, you know, we ended up becoming, you know, almost enemies. The marriage didn't work out. I got her pregnant. I decided to stay around to take care of the baby. We didn't have a relationship. We just hooked up. It was fucked up. Co-parent. And I was like, all right, you know, when you have a baby together and it's that moment, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be a dad. Dude. Let's make this work.
Yeah.
So we tried. We had a second kid.
Wow.
Running the business. I was like, wow, I wasn't there for my first kid during the pregnancy. I thought it was another dude that got her pregnant. I was like, dude, we just met. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
And then you went on
I'm infertile.
Yeah. My God.
That doesn't happen because I've done this before.
Then they found out you are the father.
So I go to the hospital and meet this baby. I'm like, yep, that kid looks like a Filipino kid. That's my baby. I'm like, that's me. So I did the right thing. We had a second baby later on so I could be a part of, you know, the whole fatherly experience. Had the pizza place, running it. I was literally trying to do everything I could. You know, to not go into all the crazy details. She ended up pulling some crazy shit. We ended up getting divorced. I had to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy on pizzerias that were humming, lock the doors. I mean, you can ask the guys in Hawaii. There was literally a traumatic deal to where this pizzeria Friday night was open. Saturday was all the doors were locked and there's a sign on the door. After 15 years in business, I married the wrong woman and had to close the door.
You wrote that sign?
I wrote that sign and put it on the door.
Was there...
I was the most angry person in that time of my life
how do you get over that?
Fuck. That's why I'm covered in tattoos. I mean, if you look at photos of me when I was at Pacifico Pizza, I don't have a single, I'm like 85% covered in tattoos now. Yeah. Just the pain of the needle. Just like.
It's comforting.
It's comforting to me. And I was solo. I was trying to do my thing. So just working through that, it still is hard, you know, and I have kids with her. So dealing with that, you know, 9 years later is tough.
You still see her, obviously.
She lives on another island, so I don't have to actually see her, which is great. When I hit up my kids are older now. Actually, my oldest son works for Brick Fire Tavern in Honolulu, a pizza place. I also help them out.
You have a good relationship with your kids?
Yes, very good. I sent him a photo of my pizza yesterday. I was like, Daddy's out here hustling that pizza dream. So.
And were you happy with your score?
Yeah, I felt good.
I was
stoked.
It was 7th, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be first.
Well, of course.
After when I turned that fucker in, I was like, that's winning, bitch. I was pissed. When I was at your party, I was like, fucking 7th? Fuck this party. I'm getting wasted during that.
Dude, I got 48th. So just to put that in perspective, what did you make?
I did a natural 11.
Of course, gotta say natural 11.
Natural 11. It's not sourdough. It's natural 11. People. Sexier. Way sexier.
You're right.
I did a natural 11. I did 20% T80 from Central Milling.
Oh, we're going into fucking... Did you write this on your card?
Yeah. I wrote all that bullshit.
I should have wrote this story.
I wrote T80. I put 80% Americana. I put 20% T80. Natural 11 with rye and bread flour. And then the topping was, I used Daniel Slaw's tomatoes that most guys won't see from their distributor. It's called the Cacciatore sauce. Mm-hmm. It's more of a robust, chunky sauce. I cooked that down to where there was no more moisture. Mm-hmm. Cooked it with onions and garlic, topped it with Mama Lil peppers. And then I took fire roasted red peppers, removed the water, dried the peppers, and soaked them in hot honey.
Wow.
So then I topped it with just those two ingredients.
A little flavor
and
bomb.
Red onions. So it was peppers and onions.
Yeah, but in like a very elevated way.
Very elevated, but simple, right? Because I think like pizza toppings these days are not about the loaded up. It's about the how do you make a minimally topped pizza just banging in your mouth? Yeah. It's just like, whoa. That's kind of where I think the trend is in topping.
Sounds delicious. Sorry, we went on a bit of a detour, though. I want to get back to this history lesson.
Yeah. So history, filed bankruptcy. I locked the doors to these pizzerias. I end up going to San Francisco. I'm out there on a trip, just cruising through. I'm driving through the freeway in San Jose, and I see Mountain View Exit. About a year ago, I saw the Viceland Munchies episode with Pinello and the Robot Pizza Company, and I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool. Let me see that. So I'm driving past the exit, Shoreline Boulevard or Mountain View, and I was like, take that exit, let's go to Zoom. Let's see what's going on. So we get off the exit, we roll up, lock door, because it's like startup status in there.
You just thought, hey, let's just go check on these fools.
Yeah, I just rolled up. I'm like, I'm a pizza guy. Let's see if there's pizza guys in there. You know, our pizza fam. We roll up to another pizza place. Let's see how these guys treat it.
Yeah, it just Zoom's a little different.
Let's see if these guys are like, pizza guys.
Yeah, they aren't.
No. So I roll up and lock door, pounding on the glass door. This guy comes out, lets me in. Jordan Klisch, he was actually one of their original guys. And I'd met Brian Best, who was their, like assistant chef at the beginning, and it was at the helm of Aaron Butkus, one of the guys from Roberta's.
Yeah.
So I go in there, I meet Brian and Aaron. Griffin was also a part of the Death Threat band. He was like the young cat that was bringing around all the drums and rolling the joints for the crew back in the day. He was the Grom. And now he's like macking it at Zoom. He's a crazy mechanical engineer now at the company. But I get hired there because I had this knowledge of dough, told him my story. I was like, yeah, I used to play with RC cars when I was a kid. So yeah, that robot back there, I could probably help work on that, no problem. So I was like, this is cool. I'm in this place and I see all the fucking startup stuff, the water bottles in the glass, the Perrier. I'm like, whoa, is that shit free? Yeah, it's all free. Cookies, all the deal.
Yeah.
So I'm like juiced and they hire me.
Hold on. You just say, let's go check out Zoom Pizza, and you knock on their door, and then you're just like, what's up, dudes?
They were hiring for a kitchen manager at the time.
Okay.
I want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, MailWise Solutions. MailWise Solutions takes advertising to the next level. They design, print, and direct mail, menus, flyers, and postcards for pizzerias all across the United States. I've worked with MailWise before. I tried to design my own menu, and Kevin said, hey, give me a stab at this, and holy shit. When he sent me back the menu, I was like, I thought I was okay at what I did, and his design team blew me away. There's no mailing contracts, so you're free to advertise on your own schedule. Click the link in the show notes or request a sample pack at mailwisesolutions.com. Let's get you some new customers today.
When I got through the door, hey, I'm a pizza guy. Oh, we're looking for a kitchen.
Were you planning on moving to San Francisco?
No idea. No plan at all. Literally was like, okay, I just filed bankruptcy. What am I going to do? I get to Zoom. I'm there. They give me an offer. Julia Collins, the original CEO, like Womack said, I mean, she's the Shake Shack girl. She was the visionary behind it.
Yeah.
And I seen the beanbag room that was on. I was like, whoa, there's the fucking Viceland room scene where they were with the robots.
Yeah.
So I was hooked. And I was like, wow, good salary. I'll take this. I don't have to own my own restaurant. I just got it through a divorce. It's great.
Need a little change.
Let me move to San Francisco. This is my time to get to the mainland.
Yeah.
I was like, this is foodie city of the world. I got to be able to learn something here.
Yeah.
Show up at Zoom. This is where this fucking story gets funny. They go, I show up. They give me an offer. And then they go, I show up, move here, and I show up to Zoom. Hey, I'm here, ready to work. Oh, we can't start you until February, unfortunately. And Aaron comes and tells me this with Brian. I'm like, what? I just moved here. That's like 3 months from now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? I go pounding down at Tony's door at Tony's in San Francisco. I'm like, hey, Tony, you're a homie, dude. I just got divorced. I need somewhere to make money and
you
work.
knew Tony at this point?
I knew Tony at that point.
Did you like Instagram, I guess isn't a thing. You're not DMing people, but you didn't call him. You just showed up at his shop.
No, the way
I
Tony,
love everything about this story, by the way.
The way Tony and me come to meeting is Albert Grande lives in Hawaii. Albert Grande, who is actually, back to you say the podcast and Bruce and all of that. Albert was like one of the original cats.
Pizza Therapy?
Pizza Therapy.
Yeah, that guy's an OG.
He's an OG.
We were actually just talking about Albert this morning.
And I told him I was at the Pizza Rock party. I even thanked him. I said, Albert, I have to really thank you because you are the first guy that put me on the internet in a video.
Yeah, he's an OG.
He's an OG.
I'm faulted for not mentioning that.
No, and all the respect to the guy. He's like one of those guys that's never owned a pizza place. He's just as passionate. There's cats out here in this business that are here at Expo that are just love this business, dude, and just love the community.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by that. But I show up to Zoom. Tony ended up connecting with Albert. Tony's visiting Hawaii with Laura Meyer. He just had his son, and with his wife, Albert brings him to my pizza place in Hawaii.
I didn't know Albert was from Hawaii.
Yeah, he lives in Honolulu.
Okay.
So Albert had found me at a farmer's market that James from Fata Omano runs now. When I closed, I had a wood-fired oven in Hawaii. It was the only wood-fired oven that had Aloha tiled on the front of it. James actually bought it after I went into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And that thing's still got a story. It's living up in Sonoma County now. We're trying to get it so Ryan from Sanctuary could have a second one in his little collection.
That's amazing.
It's a Valeriani. It's the same Mugnini that Ryan has. A big one, too. It's a 140. So, I meet Tony, he comes, I'm like, oh my God, this is like Brad Pitt of pizza. Like, holy shit.
He is a good looking dude.
I was like, holy shit, tats and the hair slicked back. I go, you're one fucking hot dude. He's got the hot wife with the tats. And I'm like, he's got the baby, Laura. I'm like, this guy's like king, dude. He's in my shop. So I was like starstruck when I met him, and I was just like, this guy's a man. And he's one of those guys, anybody out there who knows Tony, he is one of the most humble dudes who, if you know him on a personal level and you message him something, he will respond right away. Like, he is down for the game of pizza. And that's what I love about the dude.
Like, no one who has ever met him has ever had a bad word to say about this man.
Dude, the guy is
he's been so helpful. He has been so genuine. He's reached out. He's never left anyone on red.
I mean, he literally messaged, I almost teared. I messaged him. I gave him a huge hug when I saw him here in person. He saw a reel that I posted when I've been traveling, and he's like, dude, I'm so fucking happy for you. You're finally getting to do. Because when I was in San Francisco with Tony, working with him at that stint, I used to do the wood fire line, the coal-fired side. Laura was still there, Billy, the whole crew. Matt Molina was still cooking up at Capo's, Graffiti Pizza Matt. So that whole deal, that was like the helm. Tiago, who opened his own place. I was there during the time of some of the best pizza.
It's crazy to hear that you were anointed by Tony. It's like this man, anything this man touches, people go on to do great things. I'm thinking now what I do is I close Hot Tongue.
Yeah.
I go work for Tony.
Yes.
And then I try this again.
Yeah, start over.
Just start
you
the
gotta get some of that
I need to get
You gotta get that Bay Area water.
Or what we do is we just fucking sell Hot Tongue, turn it into a slice house. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. Tony, I got one for you. It's already half built.
It's ready. Just come
put
down
the sign.
here. Yeah, we're supposed to fucking change it up, dude.
No, and he's killing it now, and I got mad respect for what he's doing. I know those guys very well, and we've stayed in touch. And they're such a humble group. And to your point earlier of why I think that is, and in the years that I've known Tony, believe it or not, he's never sent me, hey, Alastair, make this dough recipe. I've never gotten a recipe or anything from him that relates to pizza, like the process of, or the ingredient, how to make it. Hey, Tony, give me It's always only been about, how you doing? How's life? Are you good?
Yeah.
Do you need anything?
Yeah.
How's it going? Are you happy there? Every time I would see Tony, he would always go, are you happy there? How's it going? How's Zoom? I'll never forget after I left. So back to that story about, let's reel it back.
Yeah, reeling it.
So I'm at Zoom Pizza. I worked for Tony for a couple months. I finally start working at Zoom. I leave Tony's. I loved it. I was like, man, this is great. I'm getting to talk to people working in the God of Pizzas pizzeria. They're looking at me like I'm a king already because I'm in the helm serving them fucking the Thomas Keller of pizza.
Yeah.
I could, wow, I'm so here at Tony's, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So I leave and I end up at Zoom. And the minute I get to Zoom and the first week I'm there, I was like, I just hit startup prison. This is prison for chefs. No windows, no fucking sunlight. I mean, it was like automation city, white walls, corporate, here's a desk, here's your laptop. Super what?
The opposite of where you were at, basically.
The opposite of the craft.
Yeah.
It literally, the 2 years I was with Zoom, it sucked a piece of pizza purity out of me to where I was soul crushed. I would kill to want to make a pizza hand stretched.
Yeah.
We used to shut down the line at Zoom when that robot wouldn't work. 60% of the time at Zoom, Womack didn't say, the robots never worked.
Yeah.
The only time we turned those robots on are when the investors came in. Half the time it was 22 people in the kitchen, all topping pizzas at the same time, putting them in those little magazine cartridges that Womack said, refrigerate them, load them in a truck. Oh, we got an order in Dublin. We sold 2 pizzas in Dublin today. Okay, we're throwing 120 in the garbage. I used to deal with throwing so much money in the garbage.
Yeah.
It literally was like, man, this is soul crushing. Like, I feel like I'm doing, no wonder why startups get a bad rap, dude, because they're just the most wasteful thing to the planet.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And they're just really, it's turn and burn money, whatever it costs to get, let's get it.
They shovel money basically into a fire.
Yep. And let's just keep it going.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. So that fire eventually burned out. Zoom lost all of their money, $750 million in the hole like that. We all walked out of there with 1-year severances.
Well, that's nice.
700 employees. That day we all got laid off. It was, hey, you guys go in building B, you guys in building A. Everyone in building A, you're fired. Put your laptop in this box. Literally, this box is the size of a pallet filled with MacBooks, laptops, cell phones, all the corporate equipment had to go in there.
Yeah.
Walk out the door. Mountain View was the biggest rager that day ever. It was, I was partying with Indian engineers that don't even speak English. They're like fucking talking to me. I probably walked by this dude 20 times in the 2 years I worked there, and he wouldn't say shit to me. But now we get, fired, and we're at this bar. All these guys are tuned up, sitting on a year of stuff. Hey, how you doing, my brother? Let's hang out. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was the ride, dude. And I was like, what a fucking trip, this fucking company.
Oh my God, dude.
That all ended up on Cron 4 News in San Francisco. Zoom Pizza lays off 750 employees.
That's huge.
Huge layoff in San Francisco because WAG just happened, the Khashoggi murders. We got all kinds of heat. I was getting calls from news reporters. We were specifically told at Zoom not to talk to any news reporters, like because of this whole WAG thing and the Khashoggi murders. Is this Saudi money invested in here? So I was like, Jesus Christ, I better get the fuck away from this company. Dude. Some shit's gonna go down, dude. So I was like, this is fucking weird, dude. So, that news came out about Zoom laying off people. I'm at Central Milling. A couple months later, I met a guy who owned Acre Pizza, Acre Coffee at the time. Acre Coffee was 9 coffee shops in Sonoma County, the best coffee in Sonoma County. He was at a Peter Reinhardt baking class at Central Milling. Mm-hmm. Peter Reinhardt's teaching the class, great guy.
Love that dude.
Love him. But I ended up kind of like, Steve comes over and he goes, man, you know more about this Detroit pizza than Peter Reinhardt. Like, who are you?
Well, what were you like speaking up? I mean, like, actually, Peter.
I was kind of felt like a dick. I was like, fuck, dude, this guy's like telling these guys. I go, what the fuck is that? What was that? I go, yeah, that might work for one of those, but when you got to make 50 of these things, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
dude.
well said.
And that's like the thing about this game is like what I do as a consultant is, it's easy to train someone to make one good pizza.
Yes.
But how do you make 200 pizzas?
Yes, that is
How do you handle the volume at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the pump?
Yes.
There?
Yes.
How do the pizzas come out consistent at that time?
The hardest thing to do.
It's the hardest. So we ended up shooting the shed. He had seen this news article. He calls me up. He goes, hey, I've been thinking about opening a pizza place in Sonoma County. I seen that you just got laid off from Zoom. What are you doing now? I go, oh, fuck. I'm sitting on 1 year severance, so nothing now. He goes, well, you want to move up to Sonoma County? At the time, I was living in Santa Clara, which, if you know where Santa Clara is, that is not San Francisco, nor is that look anything like the beauty of California I saw on TV.
Yes,
know, in the islands, we always saw, come to beautiful California. When Arnold was the governor, come, it's beautiful. We're
come,
Paris.
It's going to be good.
Come, California, California.
Greatest governor ever.
And then I'm like in the Bay Area, and I'm like, this is a shithole. And I'm like, this is not what Arnold told exploded, dude. I was like, it's ghetto down here, dude. I'm in like San Jose, dude. I'm like, this is not pretty.
Yeah.
All right, Zoom's paying well. This is okay.
Yeah.
He calls me up and he's like, hey, I'm in Sonoma County. Why don't you come out here? I'd never been out there. I'd always go, Sonoma County, that's like on the wine bottles. I go, isn't that where they make the wine?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, this is like wine country. Dude, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Came up, showed me the space, and we ended up building Acre Pizza, location number 1 in the Barlow, and that ended up, we put a pizza master, and where I really took Acre to the next level is the combination of putting the pizza master and the Capone dough press. That later on turned Acre into the 3-unit location that it is now, 3 years after the pandemic.
Were you screening those?
No.
Okay.
One of the biggest things, and I tell this to clients, and I also am a Pizza Master dealer. If you're using screens in a Pizza Master, there's something wrong with your fucking dough. You should not be using screens in Pizza Master. There should be no reason why you're having to sandbag your pies because you're putting a screen under there because the bottom's burning. So who fucked up and didn't pull out the dough before service?
Yeah.
And we've got cold dough. And who's been over here touching the top and bottom controls to now the oven's all over the place? I mean, you look at the Pizza Expo, the fucking Pizza Master, I mean, holy shit, it's all over the place.
Yes.
The heats were insane.
I cooked in the Mariforni.
Yeah, I cooked in the Capone too because nobody used it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm cooking in the oven.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking with right now.
Yeah.
So we started Acre and it blew up. The pandemic hit and we had to close. Steve had 9 coffee shops and I closed all 9 coffee shops. He hired me on as a director of operations. I closed all the coffee shops during the pandemic. We started hustling pizzas out of Acre Pizza. During that time of no contact, I had it set up. I was living in a house and I was like, I can't sit in this house all day during this pandemic. I got to do something. So I'd convinced Steve, hey, let me go down to the Barlow, make pizzas, and I'm going to put them in a 2-door fridge. I'm going to stick outside the door and put a tip jar there and say $10 for a pizza. Come and get it. And we gave away free toilet paper for every time you got a pizza.
That's gangster as fuck.
That was the move. So because during that time, packaging was dedicated to food service only, I was buying pallets of toilet paper and stashing it at Acre Pizza. So started this whole Instagram thing of free toilet paper with your pizza because we were trying to make fun out of the pandemic at that time.
Yeah, you got to laugh at it, but it was scary.
It was scary, dude. I was scared.
Toilet paper was...
It was scary. Who's going to wipe their... I'm not using the 3 fucking seashells, dude. I don't care if I seen it on Demolition Man, dude. No way.
No.
So Acre blew up, and Steve has been a good friend. I'd started doing more work on the consulting front. In that time with Joyride and Acre, I'd consulted Route 1 Bakery in Tamales, which Sunday Pizza Company actually bought as Gen 1 Pizza Master. They were the first client who actually started baking bread inside a Pizza Master. Route 1 Bakery is not a pizzeria, it's actually a bakery. He wanted to do pizza for service at night, and he was going to get a bread oven. I told him we can't cook artisan pizza in a bread oven because steam injection on bread oven, you can only hit it at 550. That's what the oven will max at because it'll blow out the boilers inside that oven. Mm-hmm. So that's why Pizza Master came out with their own steam generator.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's not worth the money. Yours has it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have steam injection.
It's not the greatest.
It's not.
And where I found the best.
I really thought it was going to be.
No, it's garbage. It's fucking.
It's
just like it's like, dude, give that squirter a blue pill, dude. It needs to go.
You know what's crazy too is like honestly, if you put the flume in, like you can almost get the same amount of steam and moisture in the
100%.
Yeah, so it's not worth the $5,000.
No,
and he's a dealer and probably shouldn't be saying that, but
no, and I tell that to people.
Straight up.
Pizza Master hates that shit, and that's the realest I do about this business. I'm not influenced, and I don't go out there and market myself as an equipment dealer. I'm not an equipment dealer. I make it easy for the client when I'm working with a new build up. Oh yeah, I also sell that oven too. I can connect you the quote and here, let's do the oven together. No problem. I would rather not sell equipment. It's not my game, dude. It's too much work. Dude. This thing shows up broken. It's on my ass. Holy shit, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So the Pizza Master, the way to really do that with steam is I actually took a stainless steel fertilizer can, steel braided hose, and I put a temperature probe on it. They did coffee. So they had the coffee boilers. I'd put the hot water in the metal can, and then we just timed the burst when we would open the door and spray water in the front like a garden hose and mist it in.
Wow.
We coat all the bread and it blisters nasty good in there. Leave the vent closed. The last 5 minutes, open the vent to let the bread get color. Boom. And that was Pizza Master and bread.
You cracked the code.
Yeah, and it was fun. And that's what I always try and do with what I do is crack the code or push the limit. Right. Yeah. I'm trying to do something that's not been done before because I'm trying to create something that's edgy for clients. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not about, none of my clients have the same dough recipes. They've all got a click different in percentage or hydration, or this guy can only get Caputo. That guy can only get General Mills. This guy can only get Hecklers. So we're going to use that flour, but we're going to doctor this recipe to where it works for your oven, your place, your staff, your fermentation schedule, your dough production schedule. That's what I look at.
How do you go from like working with Acre or like doing some consulting around Sonoma to like Kuwait, you know?
Man, Instagram. I've literally, as of January this year, I've left my full-time job. I had a full-time job as a director of operations for 3 restaurants in Kauai, nothing related to pizza. And they're full sit-down restaurants doing close to $7-8 million a year. A lot of volume, heavy tourist area. Mai Tais and pineapples till your freaking eyes bleed. It's insane. I did that and I left it January just to take consulting full-time because I'm targeting videos and reels to processes that pizza operators are amazed by, right? I'm targeting my content on processes that the pizzerias hate doing. Dough production, dividing the dough. The reel I have of me using the Jack dough divider with the Somerset rounder. I was at the Somerset booth today. I sold 3 rounders. They're more rounders than their own fucking sales reps because I speak the pizza language.
Yeah, which is important.
I speak the language that, hey, yeah, this isn't how the dough rounder rounds. I tell the operator, no, but when you're done making dough, this whole thing fits in your 3-comp sink, so it's super easy to wash, and to put the machine together, there's only 3 parts. So time is quick.
Yeah.
And it's small, you can roll it around, you can bring it to your house.
Yeah.
So it's those things, the little nuances and details.
Yeah, well, it's the actual experience of using one and why you should use it.
Yeah, and it's really when I should buy it.
Yeah.
When should you make that investment, right? I've been watching you guys at Hot Tongue, and you guys are applying a lot of the things like the $55 CME timer you got on the side of the Pizza Master. That is the best investment anyone can ever buy is those timers.
Yeah.
It's bulletproof.
Yes.
It works. It's cheap. Thank God to that company that invented that, because before those days, it was only a Prince Castle timer, which was like $900.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're cheap. It's on Amazon. And you don't have to touch anything. It's always the same. Yeah. Well, like those are little things that it can really help out a pizzeria though too, because like if you have a bunch of those white timers or that you have to reset, it's like if you're constantly.
It's not that they reset. Who dropped it and the batteries fell out?
We time everything.
Yeah.
We time every square pie. Every gluten-free has a different. Detroit has different. Sicilians have different. Cauliflower has different. Like everything is fucking time because on the other side of it, there's a 16.
Oh
timer.
wow!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. But back to you. The confidence is palpable with you. Like you are a very confident person, and I just. A lot of people in the pizza industry will decide, you know what? I'm pretty good. I opened up 3 stores. I'm going to consult. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen these days. But it's okay. Can you consult? But can you go in there and do the grit work, right? And that's what I do. It looks all fun on Instagram,
of course,
but everybody's got to realize Instagram's only a 1-second shot of the day, right? So
well said.
I tell clients, I'm like, yeah, you see that end testimonial where they're all happy. But man, when I was at Rose City with Brian, we didn't sleep for 5 days, dude.
Yeah.
It was stressful. It's tough, dude. I got to move stuff. We're having tough discussions. And it's really about the experience and the forward thinking that I deliver to my clients. That's probably the biggest thing. I not only explain to them the current situation, I explain to them the situation that's about to become after we get these things in line.
Yeah.
That's the thinking process that I think I deliver as a consultant, that other people who, you've opened your own pizza place, but you've had 3 shops, but okay, have you made dough in a different climate? Have you worked in an area where you can't get that tomato? Can you be adaptable to work with an Indonesian flour and make a killer New York pizza?
So then let's go there, because you did some consulting in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, I did Indonesia twice.
Like, how the fuck do you? Because I think I could go to any pizzeria. You give me like whoever your purveyor is, and I could do a very well job, give you the processes, give you a dough recipe.
Sure.
But that's easy.
Yeah.
Because I can get some Central Milling. I can get some King Arthur.
Easy.
I can get some Caputo.
Oh my God.
But when you go to Indonesia, like, is it a different ball game? Like,
totally different.
And the first time you go there, like, what are you, like, do you just go into it like, I fucking got this, it doesn't matter, or do you have to get educated yourself? All right, let's do a cutting with the cheese. Let's open up some cans of tomatoes. What are you using? Like, here's why things are good.
Right.
Do you get educated while they're educating?
Yes. So when I do something like that where I got to go somewhere that I'm not familiar, when I consult, I do a lot of discovery meetings in the beginning. So before I get there, it's normally 1 to 2 calls a week where we're Zooming and I'm discussing all of your ingredients. I'm looking at the vendors, who are the distributors around, send me their product list, because I can understand all those numbers. Most of us are, the pack size, frozen, chill.
Yeah.
I understand all that manufacturing lingo, all of these distributors lists.
Yeah.
Ooh, we want the vegan meats. We want the vegan cheeses. Are people coming up to you and asking you, do you have vegan options? Do you have vegan meats? Well, guess what? A lot of them are not that good, but there is one that reigns superior, and that is Beehive. Everything that they make at Beehive is levels ahead of what you can get in a grocery store. Their pepperoni, their crumbled sausage, their cheeses, there is no contest. And the owner is one of the coolest people I have ever met. They make incredible products that go on your pizza, and it is dope plant food. That's what they call it, and that's what it is. Beehive, the best. Look no further. It's Beehive, baby. Straight out of Nashville, good people, great product. Check them out.
So when I arrive on site, like Indonesia, for example, I was able to get chow tomatoes in Indonesia, but the only way we were able to get them there was the client is actually smuggling them out there, and we're paying off customs to get them into the country. I can't get flour there because I can only buy Indonesian flour, which in Indonesia, they only make white bread, so it doesn't color. So where I found that, bridge to give them color is just messing with the percentages and hydration. I did 3-4 mixes when I was on site, played with the flour, felt good with texture where I was getting good spring. He had actually imported Pizza Master to Indonesia, and the only way to get him there was to fly him on an Airbus A380. He has in the world, probably one of the only Pizza Masters that have been flown in an airplane.
Really?
Yeah, 3 of them are sitting in Indonesia.
Jesus, probably the most expensive
They
Pizza Masters.
They ran at about 60 G's a pop to get them out there.
That's like not too bad. They're like 58.
Well, now
48,
they are. And this is like back in the day. Actually, Falco had actually consulted his original place, Miami Slice in Indonesia. So I'd connected with Anthony, and we stay in touch. As this is a small business, there's not too many of us consultants. So I try and stay in loop with everybody, and we bounce ideas. Hey, if we're cool, I'll bounce ideas off of you. Or if you got a consult you can't cover, pitch them my way. I'll send you a referral.
Yeah.
That same pitch. That's how we all work. We're a small fam, right? And I'm only one-man band.
Yeah.
So I can't go everywhere.
Of course.
So, when I get there, it's really understanding what I can use in the area and my knowledge of working with so many different products, and a lot of that knowledge came from working at Zoom. Zoom literally at the time I was there was flying us to every location. I went to Central, Stanislaus, private tour at the tomato company, Grande, let's go to Saputo, let's go to Lactalis, let's go to every company and learn about their processes.
Okay, that's a section of the story that's real nice.
Yeah, so it was literally, I had SAF yeast fly out to Mountain View, and I had SAF in our facility talking to us directly. We had private meetings with Stanislaus. I had Steve Rouse come personally to Zoom Pizza and sit with us talking about the next steps we can scale. We were even to the point to talking to Central Milling. At that time, and Womack didn't mention this, when I was there, Zoom was, before we had lost all the money, we were about to build a $5 million facility in South San Francisco that was a fully automated pizza line pushing out 30,000 pizzas a week. That was the goal. And I was a part of the design of that line and the team that was helping to bring that to light. And it was that moment where we were like, holy shit, we are way out of league here. Central Milling was actually we were talking to them about getting super sacks. So super sacks, not many of us pizza guys would know, super sacks are actually how some of the biggest bakeries in the world, the US, receive their flour. So when you receive a super sack is the size of a 45-foot container, and they're not in 50-pound bags anymore. It's actually a canvas bag that shows up to the plant. They hoist it up, and it's hooked up to a dispenser outside the facility, and then you're standing over the mixer with the little funnel, and you type in how many pounds of flour you want. Those are guys doing 480-quart mixers, 10, 20,000 loaves of bread a day.
Yeah.
So we were looking at doing that kind of volume, which was really fun at the time. So I was learning all of these crazy things about to age flour, how to get it there, how do we get it from the mill, and not, because Central Milling actually they age their flour in the distributors in the chain of deployment. So when that leaves Utah, they're aging that as it's in transport. Yeah. So by the time it shows up at your pizzeria and it's been released, it's aged perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's the game.
I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It was. And I've literally, now that I'm no longer there, I stay in touch with a lot of these companies or flour companies. I've gotten to know a lot of these bakers in the years, to where I shoot ideas off each other. We stay in touch with what's new in equipment, processes.
Did any of that technology end up selling to other people's, or did
the trucks actually went up for auction? People were buying those trucks up like crazy. I saw And Pizza here at Pizza Expo, Michael Listoria's concept in New York. We were a part of building 7 trucks for And Pizza, and we built the For Real truck, a smoothie truck. The technology, cook and root technology, didn't end up selling. What did end up staying from Zoom is the packaging line. So they built a packaging line down in your area in Camarillo, California, is actually where Zoom is now. And they're making compostable pizza boxes and packaging.
So they're alive in some...
They're alive in an automation capacity, no longer. They're more in the manufacturing sector. I would say if Zoom is anything, they're going to become the new eco products of the packaging world, right? The whole compostable movement. Where they have an edge in the game is there's no commercial processing that needs to be done to break down the box. Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize with this compostable packaging, it's not just, you put it in the green box, it's good, you're saving the world. No, it has to now get shipped to a plant. They got to use all kinds of chemicals to break it down. And that's actually worse for the environment. Yeah. That's what a lot of people don't realize now.
Yeah. People don't realize a lot of things. What is the biggest mistake you think that restaurant owners make? And then what do you think that most restaurant owners struggle with?
Man, I think the ones that I see that they make is they've either gotten too far ahead of themselves in the sense of either they've hired too many people or they've created too many processes or menu items to where they're now using excessive labor to produce that product and it's not selling. I find that a lot in my current existing clients that I'm going in researching the menu and I look at the P-Mix report, something they're not looking at actively, but when I go, they normally go, what's a P-Mix report?
Yeah.
I go, the product mix report. What are you selling? How much are you selling of it? You need to know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because you may think you're prepping something for a menu item, you think you're selling it, but it's not really selling like it should be. That needs to come off the menu.
Take it off.
Take it off, and this is the world and age of restaurants where we don't need to have 3 pages of menus. That's where I see a lot of guys going wrong, right? It's like hot tub. Keep it tight, keep it simple to where it's easily to scale, right? That's the biggest thing these days with concepts, scalability.
Yeah.
How do I create one to where someday someone's going to go, wow, we should build 5 more of these because they're doing really well.
Yeah.
Right? Those days, it's kind of a 50-50 on that because some people, there's 2 ways to look at it. You can be that company that wants to go out there and open 50 locations, or you could be just that one badass pizza place in your hometown.
Yeah.
It matters where you are.
Yeah.
Right? So when I was consulting in San Francisco, other project after internationally, I opened Joyride Pizza in San Francisco, which is one of those concepts that was literally designed for scale. We had funding from Michael Birch, who's the original founder of Instagram of England, who is a billionaire. He actually owns the Battery in San Francisco, the most exclusive hotel club in the city. He injected millions of dollars into Joyride. And they literally gave me a budget of build them as fast as you can, as cheap as you can, and as scalable as you can. So I had designed the whole concept of Joyride using ventless ovens. No Joyride, I don't know about the 9th one that they're about to open or 8th one I think they're at now, is the entire concept was designed on approaching locations that don't require us to install a hood. So I could build a location in less than 2 weeks. So the Market Street location I did at Joyride, that was a record time. I'd had that store, got the keys to the location, had the location opened in 14 days.
Sheesh.
Permitted and opened. Had all the equipment in
What
place.
kind of ovens are they using?
Turbo Chef conveyor ovens.
Okay.
So Turbo Chef is the only one, and it was a bitch for me to get these through permitting and building department in San Francisco because we had to create its own item for it in the permitting department that it's a ventless oven. I had to show up to the building department. I do all that stuff for clients too. I do permitting, all of the CAD design, layout, any of that stuff. I do raw build outs.
How much do you think that your schooling helped you with this?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Because I feel like you hit a lot of angles. You have, just sitting here and listening to you, you have real life experience. You have trauma, which we all do in this industry, and then you have you have worked with the GOAT, as people say.
Yeah.
You went to Zoom, had an experience that no one is going to fucking have. And then you also have this other background in finance, and you were about to be the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I think it's looking at, and that's where my clients that I've worked with in the past know of what I do. I'm heavy on the metrics. I'm heavy on data.
Yeah.
The data does not lie.
You know what's the truth is most pizzerias don't give a shit about the data that is provided to them.
That's why those pizzerias are calling me.
Yeah.
That's why I post a reel on Instagram and they see the work I do in places and they're hitting me up going, hey, I need that work done at my place.
Yeah.
You're the guy. I need to get in there to do that. And that's what I do. I come in. I'm not coming into an existing pizza place trying to make my fucking pizza. I'm there to help you make your pizza. That's not my goal.
Well, the funny thing is, now that I'm thinking about it, doing dough is just data too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm terrible at math, but really making great pizza is mathematical. It's time, it's temperature, and it's weight.
Yeah.
If you can control those 3 things, your product's going to be great.
Time and temperature are the biggest things in the dough game.
Yeah, 100%. Well, just
100%.
understand how to use a scale.
Yeah, scale. And baker's percent. So
Yeah.
I'm all data driven. So all of my stuff is digital. All of my clients have dough calculators. So all of my recipes, I actually have devised a calculator to where a client can actually type in how many dough balls they want to make, and it will spit out the exact replicating recipe.
We have that at Hot Tongue. Yeah, all of our recipes. It's not about, you don't put how many batches you want. You put in the exact weight that you have.
Yes.
So that your pesto, if you picked 1,197 pounds or kilograms of basil, it just fucking
spits it out.
Yeah.
That's manufacturing math.
Yeah.
That is the key. If you're not looking at your recipes in percentages, you need to be switching to that, because that is the way to truly dial in recipes. And that's where dough, I mean, you mentioned earlier, 7th on the traditional division. I made a dough I've never made in my career, because I literally trusted the data.
Yeah.
I trusted the numbers,
Yeah.
right? I knew if I went in there doing a 72% hydration, putting in the T85 with the wheat germ in there that's going to absorb that water, is going to allow me to get that water in there and not give me some wet shit that's going to feel like a Neapolitan dough.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the goal, and we can control that. It's math.
Yeah.
And that's where I get crazy when clients call me up and they're like, man, I just can't nail my dough. It's different every day. I go, your dough should not be different every fucking day.
No.
Darren. What? No. I go, what are you doing to your dough? I'm like, well,
Houston,
what are you
we have a
guys
problem.
making?
Yeah.
What are we making?
Yeah.
So, and those are the times when I get there, and it's normally, and I mentioned this on What's Good Dough, is how do we take all of that information, right?
Yeah.
And we're here at Expo, and we're getting one-offs with everybody. Hey, what do you do, bro? I do this. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that at my pizza place. Little do they know, but that guy does 20 other things different. That one thing you're going to steal is going to actually change up and maybe even screw up your current process.
Yeah.
So what I've found over the years is clients have received all these tidbits of information, but not been able to put it together to where it runs right, like a proper equation, right?
Yeah.
It should work like a proper equation. That's the whole math behind this restaurant business. It should just hum. It's synergy. How do you get all of the elements to work together in harmony,
Yeah.
right? That's the goal as a restaurant. It's a machine. You as an owner want to step back and look at Hot Tongue and go, shit, this thing's running without me right now because of the systems I've put in play.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to go to Vegas and not worry about a goddamn
Exactly.
thing.
You're here right now,
Yeah.
right? And you're chilling and you're not calling. You know, I see guys at Expo.
I haven't even looked at the numbers all week.
Yeah, it's
gonna be okay.
It's okay,
Yeah.
right? Because you trust your data. And I see
Also
up.
trust my people.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a big.
Shout out Andrew and Michael. Like,
Yeah, your guys are killing
There's
it.
math, and then there is
The peeps.
the anomaly, which
Yes.
is the people.
No, and it's and where that is where you're getting really good people, is you're really giving them the tools to
Yeah.
do their job well, right? You're giving them the process. You're giving them those calculators to where, hey, Alex, I know I'm going to make a killer recipe because I trusted the data you gave me, and the calculator you designed for us to use is working.
You know what's crazy is the calculators that we use. We put all of our recipes in numbers just because all of our stuff's on an iPad.
Yep.
And so it's easy to change a recipe because I fucking constantly tinker, and I was sick of reprinting and blah blah blah. I was doing all this crazy shit, and Andrew, who's my general manager, was like, hey, check this out. If you do this in numbers, you can calculate everything so you can stop like kind of confusing everyone. And I was like, bro, you just fucking blew my mind.
Yeah,
And then we changed all of our recipes to basically mimic what he did in numbers. And it's really easy.
Yeah,
you know
it is.
what I mean?
And it's hard. It's a little bit of work to set up. And
Yeah.
Bruce on his podcast, the Blue Square Pizza in Boston, the guy's got a calculator just to manage his DDT.
Mm-hmm.
So he has guys typing in the air, the flour temp, and
Yeah.
okay, here's how cold the water needs to be.
Yeah.
So, and that's even down to that vein, like the automation and equipment that I do. It's a lot of like, I post a lot of cool shit on my Instagram of machines that pizza guys are hitting me up. Dude, that dough baller is sick. That divider, how do you do all of that? The shit's not cheap. It's expensive.
No.
But it's not as easy to just see it and go buy it, right? I was walking the floor with another client today, and he's looking at a dough press. And he's like, man, the dough that guy used looked like shit. And I go, well, no. When you buy the machine and we get it in there, we're going to just tweak your dough a little bit. The machine adds heat, so we need to come up on the hydration in your dough recipe a little bit. It's not going to change the flavor of your dough. Your salt is still the same. Your oil's still the same. You're still putting the same shit on top. It's just that little tweak we need to do to get the machines to work.
Well, yeah, there's going to be like a lot of, I mean, you can buy the tools, but you got to know
How to work it.
when you need them and how to work them.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
And as consulting, and that's where I've done like a lot of the extra work for my clients, and where I edge myself away from other consultants is not only do I sell the machines, I do the job that the company does not do when they sell you the machine. Like Pizza Master does a horrible fucking job explaining to you, oh, here's how you got to manage the temperature in the oven. Here's how you got to clean the bulbs. Here's how you clean the glass properly. Hey, be careful slamming the door because the gasket around that glass is going to break, and to replace that gasket's like $2,000, but it also takes 5 hours to take the door off that Pizza Master.
Yeah.
Trying to pull the door off a Pizza Master is a bitch, dude.
I believe it.
And getting tech help is a nightmare.
It is. I mean, we had to wait 3 months to just get our lights changed.
Oh, the bulbs?
Not the bulbs, but changing a bulb.
The socket.
The socket.
You guys fucked up the socket
No,
inside.
well, I don't know
burned.
if we it burned out. It burned out, but
Did your glass come off the little thing and the glass was exposed and the light bulb was raw?
we imagined that like it just like it was open enough for it to burn out.
Yeah,
But
it's the cheapest. I absolutely hate the light system.
the
in
lights suck.
Pizza Master.
I mean, it really even like changing a light bulb in there, you have to like
oh my God,
blindly
I've had
go
to
in
smoke
it.
almost a pound of weed one morning just to have the patience.
Yeah, I know.
You have to like, okay.
I had to get a vacuum one time, like to fucking suck up some ash that had gotten in there, some semolina, because the fucking light wouldn't go down.
Go in, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's like it's like dealing with acid tabs.
Yeah,
I call them acid tablets.
That's what you, and then you're just like the fucking, you're like Indiana Jones trying to like.
Then when you
fucking
get
paint.
it, you're like, oh, shit,
It's like 8:30 in the morning, no one's there. You're like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, totally. And that's like the shit, like how to work with that. And the jack dividers that I work with, I sell those too. And the water meters, like I've worked so many years. I go to other conventions that us pizza guys don't go to. I go to IBIE every 2 years here in America. IBIE, for the guys out there who want to level up their automation game, is the biggest bakery convention in the US. Literally, it's either in US 1 year and then it's in Munich, Germany.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
It is the thing to go to for equipment. So I've gone to that for years, and that's where I found a lot of these cool machines that I've applied to the pizzeria business.
Yeah.
And those machines, like, to be able to look at that machine and understand what that's going to do in your pizzeria and labor, I've literally put those in. For example, Acre Pizza, that place is making close to 4,000 dough balls a week.
Yeah.
And there's only one person making the dough.
Yeah.
It's game changing.
I mean, that's usually the case. I mean, I went and like worked with a buddy, Paul from Pie Trap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I went and just make some dough with him, and he had one of the dough rollers, and I was like, what the fuck? Why have I never like had one of these? Because it's one dude. One dude can just sit there and weigh it out and just fucking keep throwing them down there, and then.
But I literally stopped some guy today, and he goes, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a rounder." I go, "So what are you going to use for a divider?" There's nothing. We're going to cut them by hand. I go, "Oh, don't buy a fucking rounder yet. You need to buy the divider first."
You think you got to get both?
Eventually you get both, but you can't afford both right off the cuff.
No, because that's a really nice one of each of those.
No, a dough divider, and I could state this, like just average price for those hydraulic dividers, you're looking out shelling out 17 to 20K.
Yeah, and it's room that you have to have.
Well, it's not bad. The dough dividers, those ones that I use, those are called hydraulic pocket dividers. Mm-hmm. They are literally the size of a 30 by 30 table. So they move on wheels, they roll around. Yeah. And the way I've spec'd that specific one, if you have an 80 kilo mixer or one of the 3-phase mixers,
which is what
when we're done mixing, we're just switching the plug. So I'm not pulling in an additional $2,000 wire just to run that divider, because we mix everything.
You'll never have them on at the same time.
Yeah, they're not on at the same time, or you get a switch. But then the reason why I say get the divider first, it's fast to round dough balls. It takes much longer.
You're right, because I did race that rounder, and motherfucker, who won? This guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Human.
But the point of why that machine is so critical, yes, it's about time, but we know this as dough guys. When you cut all of those little pieces, and I use this in my bread training, if you got a guy on the bench and he's cutting dough, if he's cut more than 3 pieces of scrap on that dough, you're off the scale. You can't cut today. That's one of the rules I train. No more than 2 small shaggy pieces on there, or you're off the scale. Because the more of those little pieces that you're reconstituting to make a dough ball, pizzerias don't realize those are thin spots that are going to eventually show up on your crust.
Yeah.
when you're able to divide a dough ball and keep that mass exactly the same size, then process through a rounder, that's always stayed the exact same mass the whole way through and through. That's why people have hit me up. Why does Acre get a nice rise on their crumb and they're using that dough press? It's because we're making dough balls that just want to scream up to the top when they're baked. So that's kind of the process. And that press we use at Acre's got beveled edges on it. So the little edges taper down so it does not crush the crust. And when we press a dough ball, it doesn't press and hold. It only presses a dough ball in 1/10 of a second. So when we put it in that machine, you can see the videos, those plates come together. It's only 1/10 of a second, zaps it open. It's not to stretch it to size. We as pizza makers know what's the hardest part to train the pizza guy is remove it from the dough tray, then put this little crust.
Keep it in a circle.
Yeah, guys.
Don't fucking pull it out.
Yeah, guys, whoa, don't rip it, don't scoot it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take it out there. But yes, we can train that. But the hardest one is, okay, how do I push in my crust? How do I keep the gas from the middle to the outside?
Yeah.
This press actually goes in there, creates an even mass to where you see them at Acre. They take the dough out of the press, they throw it in the air one time, boom, we're at 16 inches.
Yeah.
So I purposely undersized the press.
You know what's crazy is like you talking about this shit. I always just looked at a dough press and I was like, that shit's fucking whack.
No, dude. And I
You know
get
what I
a
mean?
lot of heat when
I'm
me
like,
and
yo,
Idra.
that shit is whack
Bro.
as fuck.
Let me tell you, Idra hit me up after we did that podcast. It was like, bro, I got so much shit about that fucking dough press from pizza guys.
Yeah.
And I've been still responding to people about that press, about all the heat. Because there's purists out there like, dude, that's not the fucking real way. And I go, okay, then go talk to the client that just bought one and ask him if he's still got pizza makers that are cranky and willing to quit every second, right? Or he's got Joe
Yeah,
back
or
there.
shitty dough.
Yeah, and that's always the thing. Everybody like you
Is
know,
he
it's-
saving time?
thanks to the I hate to say it, but and you did it with Womack, it's the Portnoy thing. Everybody's looking for zero flop. That's the number one call for clients. When I get a new client these days, most of them are like, dude, I want to do pizza like Barstool. And I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. And I'm like, bro, and I normally have to tell the client, and they're normally either referring to someone like Lil Industry, or I go, guys, those are the best pizza places in the fucking US right now.
Yeah,
the guys that are running that are the best in the game,
Yeah.
dude. And they're living in it. They're pushing like you are at Hot Dog every day. How do I do something different?
Yeah.
They're pushing. And for you, you just want to open something that looks cool. You're not going to push like those guys
No,
are.
not
So
at
it's
all.
not going to work for you.
No.
So I have to have that discussion. Whoa. Let's reel it back. You're not going to be Lil Industry. You can tell people you're trying to be like Lil Industry. Oh, the inspiration of this pizzeria is when I was traveling to New York City, I went to Lil Industry, L&B Spumoni Gardens, and poof, I decided to like, wow, that pizza, how can I replicate that experience here in my town?
Yeah.
That's how you should be marketing the sale.
You know,
Not,
it's like, yo, Al, I need an 8-2.
yeah, no.
Can you do that for me?
No. I'm like, you're going to make the 8-2. I'm going to come in. We're not gauging this place off of some guy on social media.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what are the customers like, right? What does the sales look like?
Sometimes I feel like we forget that in this age.
It is. It's all influenced by social media.
Yeah.
Social media, dude. Look at the kids these days. After the pandemic, it has solidified kids to have a phone grilled to their face.
Yeah, I mean, even my friends or myself, like, it's just fucking
There was
Yeah.
a photo of me at the Corto booth that just got posted. I'm literally looking at myself and I was like, fuck, I look like shit in that photo. Hey, look at that fucking asshole. I was messaging you actually. I was like,
oh shit, I gotta be there
I
in
was
10
like,
minutes.
oh shit, I gotta go. Limoncellos with Agramado. I was like, man, it's tough. This Agramado is tough to leave right now.
You were at the 3:30 happy hour?
Yeah.
Do you know Amy?
Yes.
Oh, she's a fucking gem
Love
of a person.
Her. Love her. Amy, Cliff. I've known the whole Stanislaw family for years. I've worked with Steve Rouse back when Steve Rouse was still selling at Stanislaw, back when Dino was still in the office every
Dino's
day.
a legend, dude.
Dino.
His book is, I always say, go
I mean,
get
that
man's
whole
book.
family, and it's not just, I mean, Stanislaw is a great company, but there's also amazing tomato companies, right? Like, I'm not pervious, I'm not brand specific. I promote whoever's amazing and what works for my client, right? Like I have clients who are diehard Bianco di Napoli clients.
Gotta have the Rob di Napoli,
Bianco
organic.
I've even got clients who have
can.
Rob di Napoli cans up front, but in the back it's Stanislaw tomato.
I have seen that too.
That is a thing now.
It is. I have seen that, which is funny.
It is. I'm like, oh,
But
what
I love
a poser.
Yeah. Or you see both cans, which I love.
Yeah.
We're so quick to want to give ourselves to a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah. Oh, I only wear Nikes.
I only wear fuck Adidas. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
like,
Adidas.
Yeah, fuck Stripes, son.
Yeah, no.
Swoosh all that. It's like
totally.
It's like, how about just love it all?
Yeah. No, and that's, you got to respect what all of these companies are doing. Right.
Of course.
And
it's taken me a long time to think that way, though, because you want to be recognized by that company. You want to be part of that company. And sometimes if you start going out of bounds, that company might
they start to get a little shady.
Yeah, it might not fuck with you, but you should really be exploring all companies. Don't get married to one and have love for all of them, because you're right. They're all trying to do great things. Just like that's the same attitude you should have with any pizza maker.
No, 100%.
People getting fucking, we were kind of talking about some friends. It's like, if you're close in your community, I would say reach out to your neighborhood pizzeria. If you're opening up a brand new pizza and there's a couple dudes in your neighborhood, go meet them.
Yeah,
go say hi. Go introduce yourself.
100%. Rob Cervoni from Taglia literally toted that and was like, go out there and talk to the other guys. And I literally put it on my notes. I'm like, don't be shy, say hi. If you see me, I'm rocking the Buddha shirt. I'm sure they see a bald Filipino guy walking around tall. Oh my God, this is a pizza booth. Say fucking hi, dude.
Yeah.
Tell me you love what you love. Tell me where you're from, dude. What's the problem in your pizzeria, dude? And that's where I want to keep this whole story of what I'm trying to do or push and be a community, be with you, get to know you. I was like, dude, I'm gonna hit this guy up and see what Alex has to say.
It's been cool because honestly, like I didn't know anything about. I saw your first episode with iDrift, and then I think he filmed it on site at Acre.
Yeah,
the first time
we did that all on site. We'd specifically done that because I told iDrift, I said, let's do on site because I want to show everybody the back.
Yeah.
I want to show them the dough, right? I did a video where they see me dumping the polish into the mixer, and I call it polish, and there's people now messaging. Instagram, the more controversy in the comments, there's so many messages in my feed about people calling out how I say polish in the thing. And I'm like, it's polish. Who gives a fuck? It's a starter.
Yeah. Also, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's a polish.
Also,
police.
Yeah, it's the fuck the police.
So, and that's what I'm trying to put out content that to where guys see that and they go, well, shit, my police doesn't come out of the bucket like that.
Yeah.
And they hit me up and they're like, hey, how do I get my stuff to run like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get a lot of guys who hit me up and they're like, hey, I've wanted to do starters, but I'm a little bit nervous. How do you know when to ferment it? I was there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I reached out to somebody and learned.
Yeah.
Now I'm training it to people, right?
Yeah.
I've got the processes down.
Yeah.
Down to where those type of applications, and I said this with Bruce and iDrift, it's not everybody needs to be doing pre-ferments.
Of course, I know, and that should be shouted out.
It should be shouted out, and
it's okay to do a straight mix. You can still get fucking great pizza,
dude. And that's where me as an operation guy, as a consultant, when I come in and look at the client, I see them doing a starter, and then I walk into the back and I see a 20 by 30 walk-in back there, and I'm like, what the fuck are we making starters for?
Yeah.
You got enough refrigeration back there to ferment 3,000 dough balls.
Because you have somebody who has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
No, and that's where the point I made earlier. They received a tidbit of information.
Or they saw something at Expo. And
or
somebody said you get a deeper flavor.
Yeah,
or they felt like they weren't doing enough.
Yeah, I want to try something different. Let
Yeah.
me make a starter. Now they've created some shit show. I mean, Brian at Rose City, same situation I walked into. He had hit up a couple other consultants, got a little bit of information, tried doing some shit to where I showed up and he had some fucking mad wizard science fucking deal. I was like, so, how are we making dough here today, guys? The starter's over there. Okay, when is it ready? It's not ready yet. when do you know it's ready? It was supposed to be ready a while ago, but I don't know why it's not ready yet
Just
today.
like dead.
I'm like, dude, what is this? So that's where I looked at that scenario. Brian had a giant walk-in. I go, what are you trying to make starters for?
Yeah.
Dude, what are you trying to be cool like that? Dude, you're already cool.
Yeah.
You're in LA. You have a pizzeria. You own the building.
You've gone viral.
You're
many
viral,
fucking
dude.
times.
You've got a viral birria pizza.
Yeah.
You're the pioneer of the Al Pastor birria pizza. Own it, dude.
The Loti pie is fucking just crazy.
I mean, it's the simplest pizza. And even when I was there, I was like, wow, okay, I could see how that could get viral. Man, I wish I thought of that shit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one for
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The birria pizza with consomme. So, and that's been where I've been dialing him back, and he got viral and he fizzled out. And that's the thing about viral is the internet can make you viral real quick, but then 6 months later, you know, you have 60,000 followers on Instagram, but you're only doing 5 G's a week in sales. So what happened to where you lost that virality and the place was busy and now it's not?
Yeah.
I start to understand with the client, there's a quality issue involved here.
Yeah.
There's a pricing issue. There's a process issue. What is the data telling us, right? What is staff? Are you doing performance evaluations with your team?
Yeah.
California, you know this, the hardest state to have employees.
Yes, you better be checking in and making sure everyone's happy.
Oh my God, pulse checks up. Be careful how you talk to them. Be careful what you say to them.
Well, just be respectful.
When you have a sit down with your team, you have to have a female person present. Okay, guys, hi, welcome to the team meeting. Welcome, we're in California. That's the whole deal. I mean, I literally bailed out of San Francisco and was like, oh my God, if I don't have to deal with employees in California again, this would be heaven for me.
Yeah.
California meal lunch break. Oh my God, what the fuck? When I got to California and saw that and I found out about that at Zoom, I was like, wait a second. You pay the employee if they miss their lunch? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I go, holy shit.
I mean, it is, I've talked to this with other owners, like they don't make anything easy here. They don't make it easy to open up a restaurant. They don't make it easy to maintain a restaurant. All the things that California wants to advertise is put on the employer. The government's not subsidizing anything. They're not giving you any fucking tax breaks. Oh yeah, now you need a 401k plan. You need to pay everyone $20 an hour.
Oh my God, the 20 is going to kill LA.
It's going to kill pizzerias. Or everyone can shut the fuck up and realize that it's $40 for a pizza now in Los Angeles. That's how it is.
That's how it is. And I'm doing some work with Brian and we're looking at pricing and that's the thing. And I'm looking at you guys. I'm like, hey, Hot Tongue's charging way more money. Yeah,
$35 for an 18-inch
I'm like,
pizza.
guys, we need to come up because we're going to fall behind the curve.
Yeah.
And consumers need to understand. I've told people this. It's going to be two types of restaurants. It's going to be fine dining and it's going to be craft restaurants, artisan restaurant, your pizzeria, your barbecue, your sushi, your ramen.
Yeah.
That's going to be hot.
Yeah.
All of the Chili's and Sizzler, that shit's all done, dude. That's over with.
Yeah.
We'll never see that again. So I think these days of having artisanal and high price products, we're used to paying fucking $20 for an acai bowl in LA already.
Yeah.
I mean, we're there.
Yeah.
So $10 for a baguette.
It's fucking $20 for like a smoothie.
I mean, it's nuts, dude.
You know?
I was in Abbott Kinney a couple months ago and I went to Justa. I was like, wow, I just had lunch. I was $50.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had a piece of toast and a coffee.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you want avocado? It's going to be 70.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a trip seeing what's going on in this industry. And I think the best thing I'm trying to do for clients and what I'm doing in this mission is to really bridge the gap of what's hard, but also inspire and mentor, right? I feel like I have an ability to walk into a place from the front door to the back door. I said this on Bruce's episode. When I come to a consult, I do not walk through the front door. I specifically walk through the back. I go through the dumpster. Just from there, I can tell if the restaurant's already running properly. Are you managing from the back door? If that's not right, there's going to be issues in the front.
Yeah.
When I look at the back of house, I've got almost these restaurant eyes for organization. I have crazy OCD and ADHD that I'm literally using to hone in, to dial in restaurants.
Yeah.
Clients see me show up and I literally in 48, 72 hours have flipped the restaurant overnight and rearranged. They're like, wait, we just moved the oven today? I go, yeah, it's better over here on this side. See? Pizza makers like it.
Yeah.
DiMaggio's Pizza in Fairfield, Illinois, 50 years in business. I just went and helped them out. They'd had the pizza line set up one way for close to 42 years. I made that change.
Yeah.
Literally, their 89-year-old father almost had a heart attack when he walked in and saw the pizzeria different.
Yeah.
First night in service, they're now running one less pizza maker because they're not crossing swords and bouncing into each other, and it's an efficient line. So
it's crazy to be able to to have that refreshing mindset come in and be able to make a move like that you just saved a fucking pizzeria maybe $30,000
more. I mean, it's not only about saving, it's about the family's going to get together better, right?
Yeah.
It's the husband and wife, the issues are running all the way home.
Yeah.
And that's normally where, when I have clients that are a married couple working on the business, I typically like to get into the, how are things at home? Are you guys good? Is it stressful? Are we talking about the pizzeria a lot at the house?
Yeah.
Are you guys having free time together? This is important. Yeah, you're in business together, but are you just sacrificing everything in life to where this is going to explode in your face?
Yeah.
That's where I've resonated my past experience into my clients.
Yes.
That knowledge of going through those trials and tribulations of, man, I've been through some shit. I do not want to see that happen to you guys because I can see it right now from where I'm sitting and I can feel the tension. Yeah. It's there. So how do we fix this for you guys to where you're feeling better?
Well, I think that's a hard part for a lot of owners, especially ones that work together. That's always the first question or one of the questions I ask to couples that work together is how do you guys maintain a work-life balance? And how do you turn off? And how do you make sure that you speak to each other respectfully? And, we've had a lot of great answers. And I think I've seen a lot of very, very healthy relationships. I know, though, that it's not that easy for everyone.
No.
It
takes a lot. It takes a lot. You have to really be dedicated to it, and you got to have you got to really love each other, right?
Communication, too.
Yeah, communicate. And, when times get tough, you really got to be able to shut it off when you go home. Yeah. And be able to still know that you're a human and the business does not run you. You run the business. Yeah. Right. And that's
what you help with.
That's what I
basically, sounds like you go in there. You fucking tame the Mustang. You put a saddle on the horse, and then you ride off into the distance.
I do. And then the husband and wife are now in Cancun or Disneyland chilling.
Taking their first vacation.
Yeah, and
that's what you want, right?
That's what was cool. I mean, I've been to DiMaggio's twice, so they're a recurring client. I have clients that I visit Acre. I visit every quarter. Yeah. Just to do pulse checks and check in on systems. But for the most part, I keep in touch with clients on the regular. Most of them have turned into very good friends. Yeah. And where we stay in touch, and it's all about how do you help them with their life, right? How do you become like the shaman to them and help them see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And be able to resonate with their issues.
That's right. I always say good pizza consultant is like a shaman, dude, because when you want to shit and piss yourself, you need someone there to guide you through the chaos.
Well, that's what I get. I get those phone calls, and it's normally like I'm becoming a therapist. Yeah. Like I was in a client, and there was one morning where he was like, man, shit at home is not good. Like, we are having issues. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, well, fuck, I didn't charge you for marriage consulting. I go, I should charge extra for that. I go, boom, light bulb. I go, marriage consultant, pizza consultant.
Dude, I think that actually would be a fucking... That'd be badass. I mean, that's a TV show, dude. And I think, dude, that's what you need. You need like Al the Pizza Buddha. Like, not only do I come in and fix your restaurant, I'll fucking change your life and fix your marriage too.
Yeah. Hey, you guys using blue pills? I'll show you how to make that work without them.
You have a problem getting your flour a good rise and your dick up? I got you. Al the Pizza Buddha. It's magic.
I'll help it rise.
I'll get the rise you desire.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's cap it there, dude. I got one last question for you. Who's the greatest artist or band of all time?
Oh, man, you do this.
It's my what's good dough question.
That is your what's good dough. The greatest artist or band of of. It's time the Wu-Tang Clan.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Wu-Tang Clan.
They ain't nothing to fuck with.
They ain't nothing to fuck with. And that we're around the same age, and we all know that. Like
we all know. If there's one thing I do know, the Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
And that's been that. And I'm a big hip hop guy, you know. Wu-Tang, baby.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang, Biggie. That's our jam.
The classics.
Yep. Doughboy's Pizza in Bali, all they jam is Biggie. That's all they play all day. It's the playlist, New York City rap. And so I heard a Tupac song in there one time. I was like, what the fuck is going on in here?
You guys changed.
I go, whoa. Who changed the script in here?
Dude, where do we go to get in touch with you? Who do we hit up? How do we hit up?
How do you? Let's co-consult.
I'm down,
Koons,
but how do we?
Koons Buddha.
Dude, I like this idea of just
pizzabuddha.com. You can find me pizzabuddha.com. Al the Pizza Buddha on Instagram. Pizza Consulting. You Google it. I'm like fucking 12 or 13 down the list.
How do we get you to number one, dude?
Help me. I don't know.
SEO
optimization.
If you want SEO authorization, that's what we need to get into. Yeah, optimization.
SEO.
If you want your restaurant saved and your marriage, there's only one man for you.
Yeah.
That's Alastair the Pizza Buddha, baby.
You know, that's it. And just hit me up. You know, you can book a meeting easy on my website. It links direct.
You do free consultations?
Yeah, so I do. When you go on my website, you can either book a meeting for on-site consultation or remote. And you're jumping on a scheduled call with me where we're basically on the phone for half an hour learning about what you're doing. And can I help you? Can I not help you? There's no clients out there. There's clients that I've been like, hey,
not touching this one.
No.
Divorce.
Zoom all over again. I'm like, oh, Zoom 2.0. What the fuck? I saw Perrier for free and I was like, whoa, let's get out of here. What the fuck is this, dude? You guys giving me free weed too? So it's that game, you know?
Dude, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for making time and for fucking coming up here and doing this.
Yeah,
this
dude.
Was awesome.
Right on.
All right.
Thank you.
Later.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much.